Good evening. My name is Reagan, and I will be presenting on my personal leadership values as well as my reflection based on my experience working with my favorite manager, Brant, at Miller's Ale House in Altamont Springs, Florida. I'm going to start with my leadership values, as I think that these carry on really well into what I admire in my favorite managers. I believe in having a favorite word. I think that everyone should have one, and my favorite happens to be eunoia. Eunoia is the shortest word in the English language with all of the vowels, and it means beautiful thinking. This is the word that changed my life for the better. It changed the way that I look at leadership, and it changed the way that I look at myself and the way that I look at my own self confidence. I made an anagram for my values, and I used the word eunoia to represent it. E is for engaged. I am engaged in absolutely everything that I do. When I am at work, I am focused on the task at hand and what needs to be done and the end goal. It's so important to stay engaged and to acknowledge the people that you are working with so that way you keep them engaged as well. U is for understanding. There is always more than one side to the story. There is always more than the author is not telling you. And we need to be open minded and understanding of absolutely everything. Paying attention to the smallest detail can change your entire outlook of a situation. N is for neatness. Neatness meaning professionalism. Professionalism is absolutely key. If you cannot be professional in the workplace, then people will see. You are always on stage when you are at work. Someone is always watching you, whether it be a customer, a coworker, a manager, a district manager, whoever it may be. Your future employer could be sitting right next to you or could be the person that you're serving. You never know who's watching you, and it is absolutely so important to remain neat, but also the basic of keeping your workstation clean, keeping organized, keeping everything together so that way you can ensure that you have a clean, tidy, and crisp work environment. O is for open mindedness. Open mindedness not only to people, but to learning new things. It is so important to constantly remember that there is always more to learn in this world. Even if you have done a task 100 times, there is always something more to learn from it. Something that may seem super simple can be completely altered when someone else describes it to you. Just as the way that I cut brisket is different from the way that someone else cuts brisket, or the way that we run food or hold plates on our arms is different from someone else. You can always be learning from the way that someone else does something, or what you can teach in a book versus what you see in front of you. I is for integrity. Integrity is taking pride in absolutely everything that you do. I'm a big believer in serve as you would like to be served. Practice like you perform. Everything that you put out should be like you're putting it out to your favorite family member. I cannot stress this enough that I believe integrity to my very soul. And it is so crucial in a work environment to have integrity, even when things get frustrating. Analytical, because my analytical side is what makes me special. It is what changed my leadership from everyone else, what sets me apart. I create patterns where patterns are not easily seen, and this analytical style allows me to take a step back and see the bigger picture while retaining all of the little details. In my paper, I use a investigation board as an example of this, which is exactly how I tend to brainstorm and put together my problems, which I think is so important to do and so crucial to leadership because it allows you to see all the interconnected things that make a shift successful or unsuccessful. And together these spell eunoia, beautiful thinking. Beautiful thinking is a way of not only thinking, but it's a way of focusing yourself, holding your own self-confidence, and realizing that the way that I think is what makes me, me. It's what makes me special, but it's also the way that everyone thinks makes everyone special. And it allows you to look at people as an individual, which is super important during leadership. Now I'll be segueing into my favorite manager, Brant. Brant embodies Miller's Ale House to the fullest. He is a carefree, loving father figure to everyone on staff. He has 4 children at home, ranging from age 5 to age 20, and he always jokes that he has about 50 more when he walks in the building. This is so important to make personal connections with the people that you serve, because as a manager, you still are a server at your most basic. Brant makes everyone feel special when he talks to them, and this is something that I really took from him. He makes sure that everyone has a nickname, everyone has a special greeting, everyone feels as though before they leave the building that they have calmed anything and that there's nothing to worry about. Brant is caring, open-minded, and very analytical. He understands the workings behind everything that he does. What I took away from this reflection is that despite the fact that Ale House has the sort of connotation that it is just a casual sports bar and that's it, but there's so much more to it. It's about being a family and feeling as though you can come to work as yourself, and that is so important, and it's what I really saw in the company before I joined, what made me come and want to be a part of their team. This is what Brant has taught me, is that feeling like a family and feeling as though it's okay to make mistakes is what is so crucial to our learning environment, because a workplace is just another form of school. It's another form of teaching environment. You're always learning. And Brant, as compared to some of my other managers who tend to try and overcompensate for their negative actions, Brant leaves absolutely everything he does at the door. He leaves his home life at the door, anything that he's struggling with. He walks in the building and he lets go, and he focuses on the people, and that allows him to focus on the shift. Without putting stress on his people, it allows them to make mistakes and be okay with them so they don't make more mistakes out of anxiety. And it's an incredibly healthy environment when he's around. Everyone is laughing. Everyone feels as though the shift goes smoother. And there's nothing more than you can ask than that from a manager in a restaurant world. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you enjoyed my take on my values. And let me know if you have any questions or if I can do any more explaining on Brant or what it is that I do or why my values are the way that they are. Thank you.